Welcome. Thank you for joining us for our third session of UnifiMD IQ Insights and Quick Wins. Sharpen your workflow with fast, focused sessions. I'm a new face today, but not new voice to many of you. My name is Juan, and over the last 13 years here at CHS, my role has shifted from taking your service calls to becoming your UnifiMD trainer. I began working with Amanda in the training department about 3 years ago, and I haven't looked back since, mainly because Amanda keeps me too busy to turn around. Amanda's here with me also. Today we present this session's topic, Visual Efficiency, Multimedia Mastery with UnifiMD. We'll also be showing you how to streamline the importing, reviewing, utilization of multimedia files to enhance clinical documentation and patient care. Amanda will also take it from here and walk you through some of the key features, including supported file types, organizing with categories, bulk image import, searching for scan data, multimedia review, and workflow. The floor is yours, Mandy.
Thanks. Hi, everybody, and welcome back, like Juan said. All right, so let's dive right into here. I'm going to turn my camera off just to make it a little easier for this recording. So I promise I'll be quick. Last time when Carrie and I started these, we said 10 minutes tops, and we definitely went over that time budget. So today we're focusing on multimedia. We are going to show you how to store data electronically, so there's no need for paper charts to be floating around the office anymore. It's important to know that UnifiMD can support pretty much any file type. However, it doesn't mean all file types should go into multimedia because it doesn't make it as easy when you're sharing data with your referring physicians. We recommend that offices stay with the file types such as PDFs, JPEGs, PNGs, and text files.
Amanda, I have a question. What if I
Sure.
want to store another file type like an Excel document or Word?
Well, you can definitely do that. We do have sites that have that capability, but I just recommend that before you start doing any of those other file types, you give us a call to make sure that once the file is stored in the system, you're going to be able to view the information that's there. So if you put an Excel document into a patient's chart, but you don't have Excel on your computer, you're not going to be able to open it. So just consult with us before you start doing it, is my suggestion on that.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Great question. So let's talk about what multimedia is real quick. So think about it this way. Multimedia is part of each of the patient's charts. There's a tab for that, and it acts like a filing cabinet. And in that filing cabinet is a bunch of documents for the patient. You don't want to open that cabinet and have all of the papers or all the electronic documents be stuffed in there without any rhyme or reason, and it kind of end up just like a junk drawer, right? So we want to structure it so similar files go grouped in together in folders, or what we like to call multimedia categories. So the first thing we're going to talk about is creating those categories before you start doing your importing. Now, you probably all have been trained on this before, and we set up your categories at the very beginning of your training sessions. Once you start using the system, you may find a need to add more categories later, which is totally fine, and we can do that at any point in time. So here we are in Unify, and what we're going to do is come up here underneath configuration and go to multimedia categories. If you don't see this, consult with your office manager or the super user in the practice, and they'll be able to help facilitate adding a new category in there. Right now, I only have 4 categories. There is no limit to how many categories you have in here, so sky is the limit on that. Whatever works, however many categories and different formats you need it to be set up in, you can do that. So I'm going to add a new one right now by just clicking on the bottom blank line and typing in a new category. And I can add as many as I want. Every time I click off, it adds a new line, and that's available for me to type into. Click OK, it's going to save those changes for me moving forward. So now we have some structure for our multimedia filing cabinet. Now we're going to go in and we're going to import this data. I'm going to show you how to do it using the bulk image import. This allows me to import multiple files into multiple patient charts at a single time. So you can scan all day, and then you have a work list is essentially what this bulk image import will do for you. Bulk image import can be found underneath Tools, and then there's this bulk image import far to the right on the ribbon bar. This is the screen that it'll open here. You're going to want to browse to your file directory. If you're not sure where the file directory is, give us a call and we'll help you figure out where your scans are going or help you set up your scanners so that they go to a good file directory for you to use. And then you're going to click on Next, and it'll open up this tab here. So I kind of had a few things preloaded just to give you some samples. So I had 4 files sitting in my file directory, and this is going to display those 4 files on the left-hand side. You click on a row, and it's going to give you the preview of the file over on the right-hand side of the multimedia that has been scanned in. You'll be able to see who the patient is, the information, scroll through the document, add any more, and see all of the data that's in there. You can delete a page. So if I don't want this last page, I can hit a delete button over here on the right-hand side and remove it. So now I only have a single page document. This is great for faxes where you don't want cover sheets. There are blank pages because some pages had double-sided and some didn't. So it just compresses that file down for you to be a little bit smaller for when you're needing to print or export this to a referring physician. Once you've reviewed your file and you're ready to add this into the patient's chart, you're going to go to the column on the screen for patient and do your magnifying glass. And it'll bring you to the patient search, and you can use any of the filters at the top of the screen to find your patient. I'm going to use my friend Colin over here. Click OK, and it's going to put him here in this patient field. I can rename the multimedia document. So if I don't want this to be called mammogram sample report, I can say mammogram that was done on 11/11/2025. I can type the date correctly. And then I'm going to assign it to a category. The categories are those files, the folders that we're talking about inside of the filing cabinet. So I'm going to drop this down, and I'm going to pick a folder. If I need to assign this to a provider for review, I can come over here to the Assign To field and click the drop down and then pick who I need this to go to. If it's urgent, I can put a little stat checkbox in here and have that be sent off over to that Assign To person and have it flag this stat. You'll see that as I started adding information here, I got a checkbox over here on the left-hand side, which means I've hit all of the required material to import this. I have 3 of the 4 files highlighted or checked and ready to go. One is I'm not ready to add yet. I maybe need a little bit more information before I put it into a record. And so I can just ignore that one for now. It'll stay here. It won't go away. And I'm just going to hit next, and it's going to import my files for me. So now if we go into the patient's chart and I take a peek at Colin's account, and over here on the left-hand side, I click on this multimedia tab. Here are the documents that we just put in. Now, this is where I was talking about where categories become really important. Right now, how it's organized is that it's just a junk drawer. Everything's getting thrown in here. There's no organization to it until I group by the category column. When I drag this column up here to the spot that says drag a column header here, it groups them. So now it took my documents and put them into folders for me to make it easier for me to find my records later when I need to review them again. You can do some really awesome things in here. You can organize the tabs. Like, I don't necessarily care about the size of the files or the format that it's in. I don't need to see that. And then you can actually use these fields to search for data. So if I wanted to find that mammogram, I start typing it in, it's going to filter my list and find the category where that lives. I double click to view it. And it's probably going to open up on my other screen because it's exactly what it's going to do to me every day. But here it is. Here is that PDF. If it'll let me drag it. So there's my file. Now, we had talked about assigning it to a person for review. So as the provider, this has gone to the provider's dashboard. So I'm going to quickly switch my logins here. Sorry about that. I should have been logged in ahead of time. So on the provider's dashboard, we have it set up here for them to have a multimedia review. So this is where those documents are going to go to let the provider know that they have something that needs to be signed off on. They can highlight this and click on open and look at the document. Again, open on my left screen. There it is. They can look at the document, click OK to say that they've seen it, and then put a checkbox here and hit sign to sign off on that form. Not only can they see the multimedia from the dashboard, but there's also a multimedia review up here in the notification area. This notification area is my preferred preference on reviewing multimedia because it does give the provider a preview screen. So I can click on the item in the list on the left-hand side and see it at the same time. So I can move my way through the list and review. I can sort by like the stat column. So things that are urgent, I can make those be at the top of my list. So I'm making sure I review those first. I can multi-select these documents and sign off on all of them at the same time. If I have two selected for the same patient, I can click on those and hit message and message someone in the office to say, hey, I got these lab results back. Can you call the patient? We need to have them come in for a follow-up appointment. I can sign and message at the same time, or I can open the patient's chart. You can only do that if the box is checked next to the same patient. If I add in a different patient and try to hit message, we're going to get an error message or a warning that says I can only send a message for multiple multimedia, say that 5 times fast, for the same patient. So you can only do it if the patient is the same. So at a high level, that is multimedia and pretty much all that really goes into it and how to process those files. So Juan, I'm going to turn it back on over to you.
Oh, thank you, Amanda. Great information. We want to thank all you guys for joining us today. We know the struggle of trying to keep paperwork at a minimum, as crazy as this world is, and we understand the importance of attaching records quickly and accurately. If you like a one-to-one session with us or any other topics that we have presented here on our blog, please reach out to us at 800-250-8687. Select option 2 for service and support, and submit a support ticket. You could also send your questions via email to support@mailchs.com. That is support@mailchs.com. And if you don't have access to us yet, give us a call so we can set you up with a user account for our CHS One Stop. This is where we post updated training manuals along with other helpful articles and resources for the program. If there are any topics that you would like to see in the video, please let us know, and we'll see you soon. You guys take care.
Bye, everybody.